Today's session of 3 secrets of purchasing a home with little to no money out of pocket. Today, our guest speaker is Nathan. He is from the Seeley real estate team in Nashville. And we also have Jeff Stine, who is with Acopia Home Loans. He's a mortgage loan advisor over there, and he's going to walk you through all of the information you're going to need to get pre-qualified. I'm also going to be dropping in the chat box some additional information, including some links to some articles that we're going to reference today, as well as how to get signed up to learn more information and to get a copy of today's session. So Nathan, how are you today?
Hey, Brandy, good morning. I'm doing very well, enjoying this little bit of warmer weather that we're getting. I appreciate you guys hosting. And like you said, I'm Nathaniel Seeley with Reliant Realty here in Nashville. I am the managing broker and team lead of the Seeley real estate team. And the purpose of this video is to really kind of pull back the curtain for home buyers to reveal to them some of the tools that are available to help them acquire the next purchase with little to no money down. And why that's relevant is, there are a lot of scenarios where buyers just don't understand the tools that are available, might be planning for large sums of money that may or may not be relevant to their particular home purchase. So, Jeff, I know the intent is for you to share with us how we can use those tools and what that looks like from the buyer's perspective. So I'm going to defer to you. That's definitely your lane. Can you tell me more about the programs that are available that could really facilitate a position of zero to no money down for purchase?
Yes. So first, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself. I'm Jeff Stine. I'm a mortgage loan advisor here at Acopia Home Loans. I've been in the real estate and the financing industry here in Middle Tennessee now for a little over 37 years. I'm an active member in several of our local industry associations and organizations. I believe in helping others achieve home ownership and financial freedom. I do this through education, mentoring, step-by-step guidance, and I'm excited to share today some secrets to achieving home ownership with little to no money out of pocket. So what brought this up, or why we even started this conversation, is that I've got a friend who's actually remodeling a house. And I asked him, I said, well, why are you remodeling this house instead of just purchasing another home? And they said, oh, the market's terrible, Jeff. The interest rates are high, the price of homes are high. And I was very shocked by their answer. And so I took a little time to explain to them my perspective and what I hear from our industry news, and they were very shocked to hear my perspective. So from that, I thought, well, there may be others there that have a very different outlook than we may in this industry and getting the news that we're getting. So I wanted to take a moment just to sort of share some of our industry news with you today. So right now we want to talk about false perceptions. So the false perception is what the mainstream media is trying to tell the public, because obviously they're not in the industry. They don't honestly know what they're talking about. They're just sensationalizing news from different sources here and there. So let's start off with somebody who is the NAR, the National Association of Realtors chief economist. This is from an article he just recently put out saying that tenants in apartments and single-family homes paid 8.6% more in rents this year versus 12 months ago. That means if you were paying about $2,000 a month in rent, you're going to be paying 12 months from now $2,200 a month for rent. And then at the Sumner Realtors here locally, I just got the stats for the month of January, and that the sales price for residential homes year over year is up 16.79%. And what that means is that the average price of home in the 2022 at this time in January was $460. Right now, the average price of the home in Sumner County is almost $538. That's a significant change in the price of homes. So if somebody's telling you the market's going to crash, prices are coming to come down, we're going to wait till it's a better time, it's not headed in that direction. So the other one I wanted to share here with you is an article that came out. This is by Bill McBride. He's the founder of the Calculated Risk. And he's talking about how we are not going to have a crash in our market. And this graph right here is kind of showing us what it was in 2008 when we had those issues once before. And the problem is our inventory level was so high. And because we had a high level of inventory and less people purchasing, obviously it was causing a decline in the price of homes. And you'll see over here in the blue, it shows that our inventory levels right now are only about a third of what they were in 2008, and yet the demands are still very high. And this is keeping us where we are currently. So I wanted to share some of that just to give you a little bit of a background so you'd have some understanding of where we're coming from. In 2020 and 2021 was a time that I've never seen before in my 37 plus years in this industry. We were seeing people coming into this market, and with a lack of inventory, home prices were skyrocketing. We were looking at people who were offering $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 for list price just to get a home. A lot of companies have made conglomerates of money, and they were buying a lot of first-time home buyer homes so that they could pay cash and then rent them out. This literally squeezed out the first-time home buyer. The first-time home buyer could not compete because they didn't have the money or the finances to get in there and get their first home. However, in 2022, we saw a major change. Interest rates started rising, and people started getting out of the market because they started getting nervous. And actually, this has opened up an excellent opportunity for the first-time home buyer, or for somebody who may not have substantial money in order to compete in that market earlier. So that's why I wanted to take a moment, share these 3 secrets with you, because this is your time. This is your opportunity to get in to where hopefully if you purchase a home, let's say for $375,000, a year from now, maybe it might be worth, if it's 16.79%, if it keeps that rate, it's going to be worth $63,000 more. The normal appreciation is right around 3 to 4%. So this is an unusual time still, as home prices still continue to increase. So let's talk about those 3 secrets here. Okay, so this is my mortgage coach. Okay, so the mortgage coach, this is a total cost analysis that you're viewing now. This is exclusive software that all my clients benefit from. It is to help us to evaluate each loan option side by side to ensure that you receive the lowest interest rate, or the lowest payment, or the lowest cash out of pocket, whatever your goals are. So this is something that I use with each of my clients. And so we're going to use this tool to help you kind of see the difference in how this works. So we're going to start with a normal FHA loan. A normal FHA loan requires a minimum 3.5% for your down payment. We're going to use the sales price of $375,000. Your total money out of pocket is going to be very close to $25,000. That includes your down payment plus your closing costs and prepaids. Prepaids meaning your escrows for property taxes and homeowners insurance. Okay, secret number 1 is really a 2-part secret. The first one is that you can actually receive gift money towards your down payment and your closing costs. Many people don't realize that. Some people still think you need 20% of your own money to get into a home. Actually, you don't. If you go with an FHA loan, 3.5% your minimum down payment, but that money can come from a gift from a close relative. Another little secret to know about that as well is that if you have a 401k, at where you currently work, you can typically borrow up to $50,000, or half of your vested value of that 401k. This has saved a lot of deals. I've had people come in with short money, didn't realize that they could get money from their 401k in order to help get in there, to get into a home. This is great money to use. If you use your 401k, the interest that you're paying back to yourself, you literally are paying back to yourself. You're not paying to somebody else. And that money too is coming out pre-tax out of your paycheck. Great source, may want to look into that. That's secret number 1. The next one is going to be the Down Payment Assistance Program. THDA is the Tennessee Housing Development Agency. They have a 2-part down payment assistance program. One is $6,000. And then the other is 6% of the contract price that they will give you towards your down payment and closing cost. If we did the 6%, that would mean your money to get into the house would be less than $2,500 out of pocket. Now, because the market has made a shift and has made a change, instead of people offering all that money over and above list priced, right now you may be able to get some seller concessions. Seller's concessions means that instead of maybe coming off the price 2,000, 3,000 or whatever, that the seller would pay that towards your closing costs and prepaids. Recently just closed a home with this loan program. There was no money out of the customer's pocket whatsoever, and they got in their very first house. So this is another great option for you to consider. The last one I've got here just to share for you today is for rural housing. This is USDA. The USDA is 100% financing. Now, if you're a veteran, you're familiar probably with VA, which is 100% financing, but that's only for veterans. So it's not available to the general public. But rural housing, that is open to the general public. It is, though, for rural areas and specifically mapped areas where rural housing is permitted. So with that, with 100% financing, you're looking at only your closing costs and prepaids, which would be around $11,500 for this scenario. And again, you may be able to get sellers concessions to help pay for that difference. You may be able to get a gift to help pay for that difference, your 401k to pay for that difference. But this would help you also get into the home with little to no money out of pocket as well. There are other options, but those are the three secrets that we were going to share today. And from here, I'm going to let Nathan take it back.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Those are fantastic. So, looking at the chart that you have up, and thanks for leaving that up. So looking at FHA, this really, to surmise what you just said, applies to people who can pull from 401k or maybe have a cash gift from a family member or any other authorized source. That kind of goes over that, looking at 24,000 cash to close. Before we get those gifts, the FHA THDA loan program, you've got that number broken down there, a couple $1,000s with the 6% that you can utilize, up to 6% of the purchase price towards that down payment. And then the USDA zero down payment option as well. So what are you seeing used most often in the market at this time? What's the most successful out of these three programs?
That's a great question, because each one of these programs has certain restrictions. So I will say that the one that I like to use the most when possible is the THDA, is that middle option. That middle option not only has a good interest rate on it, but the down payment assistance program, it's just an excellent way to be able to purchase a home. It's just that you're going to have certain restrictions. You're going to have income restrictions. You're going to have a restriction as far as the contract price of the home. So if you're trying to buy a home that's $450,000 or $500,000, this loan program's not going to work for that. So each of these options that I'm sharing have different things that would work better for different people depending on their situation.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of FHA, THDA loans being used for those first-time home buyer scenarios. And as Jeff stated, there are a lot of options to negotiate for any of the remaining fees, which could result in you having to bring nothing to the table. Or in some cases, we're seeing people get credits at closing if they did have any money that they applied towards the earnest money deposit. We're seeing a lot of times that's getting returned.
Mm-hmm. Right, correct. That's what happened with this couple that I was referring to. They actually got their earnest money back at closing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's a really common scenario. So as we shift to the spring market, what we typically see as realtors is buyer participation and seller participation increases in the market. We see a higher level of competition traditionally. I would say to anyone right now who's considering buying, if you're a non-contingent buyer, you don't have something to sell, now might be the peak time of year. Now moving back towards Christmas, which is already passed. Really, that's kind of your peak time of year to get the most concessions from a seller, and those opportunities tend to disappear as we get closer to the warmer months. So if you're finding yourself consuming this information and you're wondering, is now the right time? It's the right time to start the conversation and to partner with a great lender like Jeff, a great realtor like myself and my team, and start identifying the things that you can plan for and building that best case scenario, most realistic outcome conversation. The biggest service that I provide as a realtor and Jeff provides as a lender is being able to inform you and educate you and help you to make those informed decisions so that these aren't on the fly emotional occurrences in the transaction. And I think that's really the purpose of today, is to inform consumers, give them the options, and help them to start to build out those questions and also solutions to the problems they might have. But I think we're kind of reaching the end of what we had planned to talk about today. So, we'd like to talk about the next step, how do I take this information and apply it? So the absolute first step for me as a realtor is partner with a lender. Start that pre-qualification process, and we're going to have links available in this content so that you can reach out to Jeff and his team and get that started. So what that does is that identifies the programs that you qualify for. It identifies your budget, and we've answered a lot of the hard questions. How much is this going to cost me a month? How much can I afford? What loan programs apply to me? And then I can take that information as your realtor and apply it to your searches in the market and never put you in a situation that stretches you beyond your means or what you're comfortable with. So the absolute first step is to reach out. Jeff, once you do that, I'd like to connect with you and set you up on a home search, meet you in person, maybe grab a coffee, and let's talk about your goals as a home buyer and make those connections with those excellent properties in the market.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, that's all that I have. Is there anything that you need to say before we wrap it up?
No, I'll let Brandy talk about some of the things that she's put in the chat as far as links.
Absolutely. And so I think what everyone has learned today is there is no time like now. Reach out for expert advice. You've got Jeff and Nathaniel. They are here to help you. We have put in the chat the link for you to be able to sign up to get additional information on how to purchase in today's market. Those 3 secrets are going to save you a ton of money, as well as being able to get a copy of the recording from today's call. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we just appreciate everybody joining us today. Thank you much.